Right.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
If you think you can't get consumed in things of this world that'll keep you out of the house of God, you better watch out.
Right. Right.
It's been said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
Well, all I can say, if that be the case, I know some folk who must really be in love with their church.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
If you examine these folk, you soon discover they're not well.
Right.
They're afflicted with divers diseases.
Yep. Yeah.
They die for the mountains.
Yep. Yeah.
They die for the mall.
Yeah.
They die for the matinee. And you watch them long enough, they'll die for the beach.
Yeah.
They'll die for the ball field. They'll die for the boat landing. They'll die for the door. Amen.
Yeah.
They're afflicted with divers diseases. Now, I'm not saying a little diving now and then is completely wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying a little diving every now and then is wrong, but I will say this. It's a fact beyond dispute. Too much diving is sure to leave you waterlogged.
That's right.
Prayers will be soaked and unmanageable. You keep diving. You dive too much, and you'll be unmanageable.
Right. Yeah.
You'll be waterlogged. One man who was asked why he stopped going to church on Sunday said he got tired of people throwing things at him every time he went to church. He said, when I was a baby, they threw water at me. He said, when I got married down there, they threw rice at me. And some man raised up in the congregation and said, you keep staying away as long as you have. Next thing you're going to be throwing at you dirt to come with your coffee.
That's right.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Oh, the excuses that some saints will come up with to try to justify their absenteeism.
Yeah.
Some say they've gotten out of the habit of going to church. And that's what bothers me about this pandemic. Now listen, it's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real.
Right.
I understand the coronavirus is real.
Yeah.
COVID-19 is real. But this is what's bothering me about this pandemic. I'm afraid that some of them are going to get out of the habit of going to church.
That's right.
Right.
Sitting around on the couch in their PJs and their pajamas and their boxer shorts and watching live stream is going to get them out of the habit of going to church.
Right. Right.
That bothers me.
Yes, sir.
It bothers me. Some say, well, I've known people who have been to church all their life and they don't seem to be any better than I am. Some say the way that they've got it figured out, there's just as many good folk outside the church as they are inside the church. And then you got that crowd that's saying they no longer want to go to church because it went too much, it went enough when they were small. I don't need to go back to church. When I was small and at the house, Mom and Daddy made me go to every service. I've just been to church too much, and I don't need to go anymore. Well, let me say any excuse and attempt to justify one habitually keeping himself away from the Sunday worship service is absolutely ridiculous.
Amen.
You can't come up with a justifiable excuse for your regular and habitual absenteeism on Sunday morning. Actually, we ought to have the same attitude of the old man who could barely hear, yet he would walk to church every Sunday morning. Did you hear what I said? There was an old man, he couldn't hardly hear, but he would get up every Sunday morning and walk to church. One Sunday on his way back from church, his neighbor stopped him and had to yell at him because the man couldn't hardly hear. He said, "Hey, old timer, why do you insist on going to church every Sunday? I mean, after all, you can't hear everything that the preacher is saying." And the old man responded, "Well, you're right, my friend. I don't hear everything that's said at church, but I sure feel home when I get there. I feel at home when I get there." I'm telling you something. If you're saved by the grace of God, you ought to feel at home inside the house of God. This is your Father's house. You ought to feel comfortable around your siblings, your brothers and sisters in the Lord.
Right.
I feel good when I get to church.
Yes, sir.
I do. I look forward to church. I've been loving church ever since I got saved. Amen. I might hit miss a little before I got saved, but when I got saved by the grace of God, never since then, nobody has to come to knock on my door and say, "You ought to be in church." I love it.
Yes, sir.
It's my Father's house.
Right.
It's where my siblings gather. And I love the church house. You see, it's the structure of the service that should make the believer feel at home. The Bible says in verse 7, the saints at Troas broke bread together. Part of their worship included the observing of the Lord's Supper. The saints at Troas felt comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, remembering the Lord's broken body and the blood that He shed for them on Calvary's hill. They were not the least bit uncomfortable, but here's what they did. They lived clean enough lives to properly show the Lord's death till He come again for them and receive them, that where He is, there they may be also. They enjoyed remembering what Jesus did for them. They observed the Lord's Supper.
Amen.
And they loved the structure of the house of God. Now, by the saints at Troas being comfortable in the church, they were not bothered by the span of the service.
Right.
Oh, hold on now.
Yeah.
They're comfortable there.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
like it there.
Yeah.
So they ain't none of them looking at the watch.
Amen.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, they're comfortable with the span of the service.
Yeah.
They're comfortable with the duration of the service. Look at verse number 7 again. In the second part, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight.
Amen.
And you think you got a leather lung pastor. No.
Yeah.
He preached till midnight.
Yes, sir.
Now, hold on here just a minute. Some of you shaking now. Oh, you're getting nervous now. Now, the length of this service is no indication that we are to assemble on Sunday and continue till midnight. That's not the indication here. But what it does show me and you is this. There are some special occasions that the service may have to last longer than the norm.
Right.
Right.
I mean, there's just special times it may go just a little longer than the norm.
Yeah, right.
We must understand this is the last time that the Apostle Paul was going to be in this city of Troas. You see, when he leaves Troas this time, you know where he's headed to? He's headed to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be long before he's going to wind up in a Roman jail. After he gets there, it's not going to be long. He's going to be in a Roman jail. Confined. He's not coming back to Troas anymore. Therefore, this Lord's Day called for a special meeting. I mean, a meeting that would require more time than usual for the edification, the building up, and the spiritual instruction to God's people. It was just going to take them a little longer this time to give God's people what they need. So Paul preached. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
You didn't get it. He preached, and then he preached, and then he preached,
Right.
and he just kept on preaching. He just kept calling text. He just kept turning to different places, and he just kept preaching and preaching and preaching, and the people just sat there and absorbed the word that he was giving them because they knew he was a chosen vessel, anointed by God, and sent down there to give them the word. So he preached, and they just sat there and listened.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. Yep.
Give us some more.
Yep.
We need more of that word.
Yes, sir.
The saints at Troas enjoyed Paul's preaching, which told them that they were not of this world, for which they were to keep their minds set on things above, where Christ sitteth at the right hand of God. They loved hearing about that stuff. They loved hearing about that they were in the world but were not of this world anymore. And their focus now was to be on Jesus. The more he preached to them, the more they embraced it, and the more they loved it. The fact is, these saints at Troas were eager to sit in the preaching, and the more they heard it, the better they liked it. I like that about this congregation. Now, you got to agree with me, their kind are not seen too often in today's church.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah.
People come to church today and look for preaching. No, they look at anything but preaching.
That's right. Right.
Right.
I'm afraid there are a lot of people that would rather see a show than hear a sermon.
Yeah. Tell it, preacher.
Yeah.
That's right.
They would rather be part of a play than they would somebody preaching to
That's
them.
right.
Right.
Not the case with these saints here in Troas.
Amen.
It's obvious if you read the text here, the main part of their service was placed upon preaching of God's Word. And I love singing. I love testimonies, and they all got their right place in the service. But I'm telling you something, nothing surpasses preaching, preaching.
Right.
And that's what these saints at Troas was accustomed to, hearing preaching. Now, sadly, in many of our once called Bible-believing churches, there's more emphasis put on entertainment than on preaching and teaching the Bible.
Yep.
Amen. You'd be surprised of the showmanship that's out there today.
Yes, sir. Amen.
And that's all people are coming to see the show.
Yep.
How many cars the preacher can jump when he's shouting? How many pews he can walk?
Yeah.
How far he can throw his watch in the congregation?
Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
I've had preachers tell me they've been to church services before, and I said, well, how was everything? Man, I'm telling you, it was good. I'm telling you something, boy, that was a good service. I said, what did the preacher preach on? My wife wrote it down. He didn't get it.
Right.
All he got was the theatrics.
Right.
The jumping, the hooping, the hollering. Now listen, I get excited too. But I'll grant you one thing, if I ever start walking pews around here, I ain't doing it so you can see me. I won't be doing it because God's in it, because they ain't break my leg. Break my leg. Amen.
Right.
That's the truth. But you'd be surprised at the people today ain't coming to church for preaching.
That's right.
No. Come to be entertained. Many assemblies have succumbed to this contemporary movement of our day,
Yeah.
wherefore playing has now surpassed preaching.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Amen. Gimmicks and gadgets, every little thing that you can put out there to get people to come
Yeah.
to the house of God. That everything is surpassing preaching at some of these places. Now let me say, there's no wonder that corruption has risen to an all-time high in the church today. For corruption in the house of God will always increase when preaching is decreased.
Amen. That's good.
Somebody said preaching ought to let up a little bit. Let up!
Yeah.
Dear Lord, I'm full speed now, about to get run over.
Yep.
You let up.
Yeah.
You let up. You've had a bad day. Ain't no time to let up now. We got to keep on.
That's right.
Amen. I'm telling you something. Corruption in the house of God will always increase when preaching is decreased.
That's right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So we noticed the service at Troas was on Sunday. It all began on Sunday. And the people were comfortable there. So they wasn't concerned with the duration of the time. And it was conducted, you notice, at a suitable site. Look at verse 8. Where are they meeting at? A suitable site. And there were many lights in the upper chamber where they were gathered together. The location of this meeting was an upper room. I like this.
Amen.
3 stories above ground they were. You say, what's going on? This is a picture here of the saints of God located in a place above the level of this world.
Yes, sir. Good.
Oh, you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Right.
They're somewhere now, they're above the level of this world.
Yeah.
They're separated while in this location from all the evil events that are surrounding them. They're in a good spot right here. They're above the level of this world. Separated from all this mess that's out there in the world. Now you notice the Holy Ghost even makes it a special point to tell us in this text that there were many lights in the upper room where they had gathered together. Now he didn't put that there for no reason. There's a reason there. This was a contrast to the dark places that are frequented by the heathens of this world. This is a place with light.
That's good.
It's not a dark place where heathens go to.
Right.
Did you know evil loves darkness, therefore dens of iniquity do not abound with lights?
Right.
I'm serious.
Right.
A den of iniquity, a bar, a saloon, a lounge, a dance hall.
Yeah. Right.
You know, lights there to keep the lights down.
Right.
Right.
Cover up their evil, their wickedness.
Right. Right.
Amen. Where when somebody sits down at the table with them, they can't tell if they're pretty or ugly. Keep it dark in here. Amen. You get outside in the light. Whoa! Wow! I didn't know that was what that was. They were dens of iniquity.
Yeah. Right.
They love darkness rather than light.
Right.
Because light exposes their evils. Whereas the assembly that meets to glorify God the Father of lights, will illuminate the sight with lights because they have nothing to hide. Turn the lights so we got nothing to hide down here. Amen. We worship in the God of lights,
That's right.
the Father of lights. There's no variableness, neither a shadow of turning. I think we'd all agree that these saints at Troas were being richly blessed in this service. Would you not agree? They had a good time in this service. I mean, they had come together as spiritual siblings, their brothers and sisters in the Lord. They down at the house of God. They're in their Father's house. I mean, they're meeting in a place of light that's elevated far above the level of this world. I mean, they're partaking of the Lord's supper. They're remembering the death and burial and resurrection of Jesus Christ. They're remembering His broken body and the blood that He shed for them, while also enjoying the wonderful and powerful preaching of the Apostle Paul. They're having a ball at this service.
Amen.
Surely we can say at this point, everything was going quite well. But there was an unknown about to be known. You see, there was one present who was just before causing a stir inside the service. There was an unknown about to be known. Someone sitting there about to cause a stir inside this service. The Bible said in verse number 9 of Acts 20, and there sat in a window a certain young man named Eutychus, being fallen into a deep sleep. And as Paul was long preaching, he sunk down with sleep and fell down from the third loft and was taken up dead. Eutychus. Who is this man? He represents the believer that after being so well favored by God and so blessed of God, he becomes careless and then he falls. The danger of a believer sitting in the window at church is he's more out than he is in.
Right.
He probably has his feet dangling over the edge. He's a whole lot more out than he is in. You see, while Eutychus was comfortable around the edge, he was in danger of falling. In fact, being comfortable around the edge, it was only going to be a matter of time till others in the congregation would witness him falling completely out of church.
Right.
He's on the edge already. And it ain't going to be long before the rest of the people are going to witness this man as he falls completely out of church. Now the question could be asked, why was this young church member in Troas sitting in the window anyway? What's he thinking? What's he doing in the window? Well, the answer could be in the meaning of his name. Now listen to it. His name means good outcome. Eutychus, good outcome. Well fated. Well, let me say it like this. His name means fortunate. It means he had plenty. Or it means he was pretty well off. That's what we'd say today. Could it be that this young man named Eutychus, could it be that he had become somewhat bored with spiritual things because he had been so blessed with material possessions? Could it be? I don't know. Could it be that he had so much stuff now, spiritual things just didn't mean anything anymore? Could it be that his mind had become so preoccupied with his stuff that he now viewed sermons and church services as being unnecessary and not really all that important? Could it be he just got so much now, he just don't see the importance of coming to church anymore? Could it be that Eutychus had become what we might call a sermon taster? You say, what's a sermon taster? Although he'd allowed other things to take precedence in his church attendance, perhaps maybe he'd heard about this special service, which would include a widely acclaimed speaker named Paul. Maybe he was a sermon taster. I mean, he's allowed other things to take precedence in his life to keep him out of church, but he sure holds it. They got a widely known preacher coming down there now, Paul. That's a sermon taster.
Yeah.
There's people that won't come to church here today, and listen, I'm not belittling them, I'm not throwing off on them, and I'm not in the least little bit envious or jealous, but there's people that wouldn't come here today to hear me. But I could have brought somebody else in here, and they tore the door down to get in here. Amen. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Oliver B. Green said one time, he said he worked hard setting the tent up, and he'd get the tent up, And he said people wouldn't drive 5 miles to hear him preach, yet they drive 255 miles to hear another man preach the same Jesus he preaching.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Sermon tasting.
Yep.
Sermon, and listen, I love all men of God, and I got sermon that I drive a long ways to hear too.
Yes, sir.
But I just wanted to hear this sermon taste. I mean, you know, there's some folk who only come to church on special occasions. You know that as good as I do.
Yes, sir.
You know what I call them, don't you, CEO members?
Yeah.
Christmas, Easter, and other special occasions.
Yeah.
It's the only time you're going to see them.
Yeah.
Somebody say, you got any CEO members? Yeah, have plenty. Pastor, plenty. Yeah, sometimes it makes you want to put on the church sign, after Easter, come back next Sunday and pretend it's Easter, he's still alive.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
So think about it.
Yes, sir.
One time a year, CEOs, sermon tasting. Now, if this was the case, then surely it wasn't long that he didn't find Paul so interesting. I mean, after all, it fell asleep on Paul. Amen.
Right.
How many know the shiny wears off after a while?
Yeah. Right.
Amen.
Amen.
God lets me stay here 20 years, I won't be as shiny to you as I was when I first come here. But you won't be as shiny to me either, as you were when I first came here.
Right.
But there's a newness about things, and you know I'm telling the truth.
Right.
Excitement of something new.
Right.
Right.
Lord Paul was preaching and preaching and preaching. But then it just got dull and dull and dull. This old boy here. I mean, all the rest of them was absorbing and soaking in. Not him. Finally, he just got bored to the point that he went to sleep. Now, when I read this, after hearing this as a preacher, I find a little satisfaction knowing that at least one person went to sleep while Paul was preaching. And I'm not going to say that. Now, he's an apostle.
That's right.
He got power.
Yeah.
Apostolic power. And he healed sick folk.
Yeah.
He got the power to raise the dead, cast out demons. And I feel a little satisfaction knowing that somebody went to sleep on his preaching.
Yeah.
Therefore, I won't feel so bad if I see one of you nodding every once in a while while I'm preaching. Amen. I got to tell you this. I think about my son one time. He worked hard during the day. I mean, he worked hard and come to Wednesday night prayer meeting one night. And I happened to look out there, and he was sitting straight up in the pew, and his eyes closed. And I said, Wayne, wake up! Man, he jumped like that, you know. And I'll never forget what he told me after church. He said, Daddy, I wasn't asleep. I was just resting my eyes. I was listening to you. That's where you look like you're sleeping. Amen. But after seeing that somebody was not on Paul,
Yeah.
it don't bother me as much now.
Amen.
Somebody said, I might doze off a little bit. I had worked third last night. That's all right. Come on, a half a loaf's better than no bread at all.
That's
Come on.
right.
Amen. Amen. And all of a sudden, the servant of Troas is interrupted by crashing fall. This young man named Eutychus, the Bible said he fell out of the window all the way down to the ground, 3 stories below. And he fell a long way. However, it's important to understand that he'd already fallen asleep long before he fell out the window.
Sir.
Right.
You gotta understand that.
Yeah.
Long before he went crashing down, he'd already went to sleep.
Yep.
Now, though the first fall didn't attract as much attention as his second, it still stands to reason that his first one is what led to his fatal one.
Right.
He didn't get much attention when he went to sleep,
Yeah.
as he did when he fell out. But that first one was what caused him
Yes,
to
sir.
fall. He had to go to sleep first.
Right.
And there's so much that we see that it was among this gathering of saints that one of their members fell from a high level of separation from all the spiritual darkness of this world right down into the lap of destruction. That's what took place here. Eutychus fell from the top to the bottom, and when he did, what happened? He caused a great stir